As an equipment guy, I'm just kind of in charge of anything that the players and coaches need. Helmets, shoulder pads, uniforms, all the way down to their socks or shoes. Like anything, you want to be the best at what you do. With the changing of the guards, Coach Coughlin coming in, he's kind of an old school guy, him and Doug both, which is kind of where I came from, that sort of older school grind, long hours kind of thing. But there was definitely a different attitude. That vision comes down from Mr. Kahn, Coach Coughlin, Coach Marone. Make no mistake, we're here to play football, we're here to win games. I think the uniform goes right along with that.
A uniform represents identity.
The uniform represents for fans both their love for the team, but oftentimes can represent a lot about where they're from and who they are.
I think when you're looking to evolve, it starts by reflecting inward. What is the city of Jacksonville about? What kind of football team are you? You have to almost go back to the beginning.
Well, good afternoon, and as usual, it is a brilliant day on the banks of the St. John's River.
Understanding your past. And knowing where you want to be in the future.
I guess the objective for this is to go through sort of their first pass at the uniform redesign. This is again the first tangible step in what's going to be a long process.
There's definitely a strong push from the football side to really, streamline what we're doing here. And certainly the influence of Tom Coughlin coming back, we knew exactly what they wanted to achieve. They articulated that really well. And it helped us write the brief for this.
We're going through a personality shift here. This is a critical time for us. On the field, we really want to, in a way, embrace some of the old values of hard work, as Tom would call it. So we can't do anything to the uniform that would, give us a disadvantage on the field. Anything we want to do should be helping us or helping our players.
Earlier, back in January of 2017, Shad made it very clear to me that what he wanted to talk about was winning. He wanted to surround himself with people who could be outstanding teammates. We wanted everything to be first class. We wanted a football team which was physical and strong and tough. We wanted to return that product to the field. The thing that's important for me in thinking about this is the connect. We have three players that should be in the Hall of Fame. Tony Baselli should be in the Hall of Fame, Fred Taylor should be in the Hall of Fame, and Jimmy Smith should be in the Hall of Fame. The players of 2018 Jacksonville Jaguars will wear a uniform that when they see those three people, for example, inducted into the Hall of Fame, they can relate directly to that. That's the distinctive, traditional, classic uniform of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
You can't pass by one day of work here without respecting the past. I think Shad fully respects the past of where the team was and who it was and the identity of the local market and the identity of those players that once played in Jacksonville that are all over the walls of the organization when you walk through the halls. And I think that's part of what Shad kept intact when he acquired the team. Designing this uniform, his goal was to bring us into the future, but create a look that was now as timeless and as classic as we could be with a modern touch.
Nike brings such a unique point of view to this. All they do is focus on the athlete, performance, and a strong aesthetic, and those things paired perfectly with the direction that the Jags wanted to go with this uniform.
My role is to oversee the design process. One of our design philosophies is respect the past, represent the future. So we wanted to understand what they wanted to keep, what did they want to pull forward, and maybe what are some things they wanted to edit out.
What we learned from the last redesign, or really the design I was part of, we wanted to be different, and we really baked in some uncompetitive components, like the two-color helmet. You know, you're looking for every edge on the football field, and the two-color helmet was a disadvantage because, you know, the opponents could see where the head was turning. And what I love about the black helmet and the black is it's probably going to give the least amount of cues to the opponent on the field. Black is one of the best camouflages you can have anywhere.
One of the core design values here at Nike is listen to the voice of the athlete. Here at our Concept Creation Center, we spend a lot of time, definitely in the early phases of new chassis design, trying to dissect what can we make better. There's always improvement to be made. They want it to feel fast and look fast. So one of the key design characteristics of the Vapor Untouchable is one big front panel that wraps around the shoulders. We went from a chassis that had 36 panels down to 10. So that really helped us fit the uniform precisely to the athlete.
We always like to use the term look good, feel good, play good. You want those guys putting that uniform on and feeling invincible.
I wanted to see the return of tradition. I wanted to see the distinctiveness. I wanted the shiny black helmet with a beautiful Jaguar logo. The classic Jaguar uniform.
Let's be timeless, let's be simple. Let's not have anything that's really fussy or fluffy in the design. I think that feels right for the brand. I think that feels right for the fans. I think that as the organization, when we look at what Tom and Shad and the team are bringing to this, it's a true reflection of the things that they're trying to achieve.
When we communicate about the Jaguars, what do we want to say about the future? We looked at the past. If you look again, thinking about timelessness, we didn't find our current font to be a timeless font. It might belong exclusively in the future, but it certainly would have looked out of place in the 90s. So this is a font that we challenge Nike to go create. Take the full block font and modify it, modernize it.
Football represents toughness. Football represents speed. We wanted to bring those elements into the uniform. This time we took it as a challenge to come up with what can we take away that's extra yet still maintain a modern aesthetic.
When you talk about something that's really modern, it has a lot of clean lines, it has a really bold statement to it, and uses the least amount of elements to get there.
We started with full black. Full block's probably been around for 70, 80 years. It's not easy to redesign a traditional font.
It is a custom font for the organization, for the Jags. The font is both modern yet traditional. You can serve the athlete and then bring in the brand's identity and their ideas, that we're gonna end up in a really good place. The Jags were very clear on what did they want to stand for in terms of their tiering of colors. So they're very clear they want to own black, white, teal.
We really wanted to establish what the unique colors were and to do that in a way that prioritized them and gave each one its own uniform to really shine.
As a designer, and you get a project to come up with something modern, you usually start with black or white, and they had that.
The black is kind of a tough look. The guys enjoy wearing that. They like wearing the black on black.
I think black is just such a great traditional football color. Obviously, it's not wholly ownable by the Jaguars, but it's so tough, it's so clean. It looks great on field. It looks great from a fashion perspective.
When we talked about what our fans wanted, we talked about what we were hoping would come through. This starts with respect for teal. Teal's the heart of the brand. If we want to see teal pumping through the veins of this uniform, how do we not, get in the way of that? Teal is the most important color, and I think Nike really got this part right when they listened to us. They brought us a full teal uniform as our alternate, but also as our color rush. You know, it allows us to take teal to a degree that we've never been able to showcase.
With our alternate being our color rush jersey, we can wear it up to 3 times. So let's push that. This is who we are.
When people see that teal now, there's an even greater appreciation for a team that's invested in the community, a team that's stuck with the community, a team that cares about and continues to elevate the Jacksonville communities. When you think about what Bold City means, what Duval means, this brand is now representative of more than just Jacksonville.
This is an organization that is different than it was just a few years ago. You know, Shad looks at things a little differently today than he did when he first purchased the franchise because the Jaguars have evolved over that time.
It's a different mentality. We're a different city. You know, you want to have your uniform and your city and your fans kind of all on the same page. It represents who we are, what we want to be.
What you're really trying to do is to create a legacy and create an identity. And that's a very evolutionary process. We're laser focused on just the important things. This uniform change can also symbolize a bit of that.